So teen sex is a political target. All sorts of policies are targeting teens, targeting their sexuality and their contraceptive behavior and their pregnancy. It's sort of a moral panic at the same time that it really does have real consequences. And so I think we've seen teen sex be a bit of a political football, and I think it will continue to be. Under George W. Bush, there was a lot of abstinence-only education, and then Obama came in and decided to follow more of what the science has been saying when they've been randomly evaluating these and saying that comprehensive sex ed with a focus on abstinence is something that seems to be better in terms of preventing pregnancies. So he cut out the abstinence-only money and started this $100 million a year program where most of it's going to teen pregnancy prevention and some of it's going to reducing the consequences of teen pregnancy. If it were me, I would flip that because in fact, the research shows that when you look at the kids from the segments of society where teen pregnancy is common, if you had this hypothetical situation where you compared a kid who ended up getting pregnant and having a baby to that same kid if you rewound the tape and had them not have a baby, on average, there's very little difference in what happens to that person in their life. It's a little bit more negative, especially in the short term, but in the long term, things look pretty similar. So there's surprisingly little consequence. But at the same time, when I've looked at all the kids in the U.S. born in 2001, they did this random sample, the majority of the kids living in poverty have a teen mom. And I mean, I knew it was the other way around, that there was a lot of poverty among teen mothers. But the majority of kids living in poverty have a teen mom. The majority of kids whose mother is a high school dropout have a teen mom. And so if you try to reduce the consequences of teen pregnancy, regardless of why those consequences came about, whether it was because the teen became pregnant or whether because there were other things in their life and their background, if you can reduce those consequences, then you're affecting poverty policy for the entire society because you're getting the majority of those kids. And so that's why I think it's great that $25 million a year have gone into trying to ameliorate the consequences of teen pregnancy, but I hope that more money can go to that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Politically, it's hard to predict how it'll come up, but I do expect it to continue to be a political football, especially teen sex ed, but even teen pregnancy is increasingly entered this debate.